Hello everyone. So today I'll be discussing on how to burn fat. So the right word, the most appropriate word that you can use is how to utilize fat. Because you don't burn fat, but the more appropriate word, the right word that you can use is utilize fat. So let us understand. So to make it very simple, let's take example of a car. So you own a car and you wish to take this car for a long trip, say around 500 kilometers. And you have two fuel options, fuel A and fuel B. So fuel A will give you a mileage of about 8 kilometers per liter, and fuel B will give you a mileage of around 20 kilometers per liter. So this is the efficiency. Second is the fuel tank capacity. So when you prefer to use fuel A, the fuel tank capacity is around 25 liters. And with fuel B, the capacity is around 80 liters. Third point is that exhaust. So when you prefer to use fuel A, the exhaust is high in comparison to fuel B. Fuel B exhaust is lesser in comparison to fuel A. So you have 3 points and you can select depending on these factors. Either you wish to prefer fuel A or fuel B. So the mileage, which will give you the efficiency, the fuel tank capacity, how much it can store, and also the exhaust. So the exhaust will also define its efficiency, how much of waste is produced. Now the similar thing happens with the human body. The car is the human body. And let us understand now the two fuel options. We have two fuel options. One is carbohydrates and the other is fats. So carbohydrates will give you, like we discussed about the mileage. So carbohydrates, 1 gram of carbohydrate will give you 4 calories. With fats, 1 gram of fat will give you 9 calories. So fats is double the amount. Carbohydrates will give you 4 kilocalories, whereas fats will give you double the amount, 9 kilocalories. Which means that fat is very energy dense. So this is the efficiency. Second is the fuel tank capacity. Now we can store energy in the form of glycogen. And a store tank is the liver and the skeletal muscle. So our body can store glycogen and whenever we require it, the body utilizes this for energy. So the liver and the skeletal muscles is nothing but the fuel tank capacity of our body. So whenever there is gap in between meals, a long period of fasting, then our body utilizes this tank for energy. And also when you exercise, that is the time the body utilizes the glycogen from the skeletal muscle. Now the skeletal muscle, that is the muscle mass, it differs as per each individual. So some may have more muscle mass and some may have less. So the liver can store around 100 to 120 grams of glycogen. So let's consider around 100 grams. And the skeletal mass, depending on how muscular the person is, if they have more muscle mass, then they can store more glycogen. So let's consider it to be around 400. So in totality, 100 plus 400 will give you 500. So this is the fuel tank capacity. Your body can store the fuel, the energy, that is around 500 grams storage capacity. But when it comes to fat, surplus amount of energy, the body can store a lot of fat. So its fuel tank capacity is very great in comparison to the glycogen store. Now depending on the individual, if a person comes under the IBW, that is the ideal body weight, then they will have less fat percentage. So if the person is overweight, then they will have more amount of fat percentage. So consider a person to be overweight, so at least they would have around 20 to 30 kgs of fat. So let's consider 30 kgs of fat, and this is nothing but the fuel tank. So 30 kgs is equivalent to 30,000 grams, because 1 kg is equal to 1000 grams. So 30 into 1000 will give you 30,000 grams. Now this 30,000 into 9, because 1 gram of fat will give you 9 kilocalories. So this is nothing but 2,70,000 kilocalories of energy. So you can see with fuel A and B, you have limited storage capacity. The tank is small, but with fat you have almost 2,70,000 kilocalories of storage capacity. Now this is just a number for example I have mentioned. Now third point is the exhaust, which is nothing but RQ value. So the RQ value of carbohydrate is 1. Now what is this RQ value? RQ value is nothing but the ratio of carbon dioxide to oxygen. Now we breathe in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. So RQ value will give you the ratio of how much oxygen you're taking in and how much carbon dioxide you're giving out. With carbohydrates, the RQ value is 1, and with fats, the RQ value is 0.7, which means that you're taking in oxygen and you're giving out less amount of carbon dioxide. So which means that when you're breathing, when you're utilizing fat primarily as a source of fuel, your body is giving out 30% less exhaust, less carbon dioxide, which means less waste. And this RQ value is very important when you train at high intensity exercise, like when you're jogging or you're sprinting, then the need for energy increases. And therefore, when the demand increases, you start taking in more amount of oxygen because you have to prepare more amount of energy. So your breathing rate increases. You start breathing very heavy and very fast. So you take in a lot of quantity of oxygen and give out a lot of quantity of carbon dioxide. And the rate is really very high. So that is the time how efficiently your body is utilizing the fuel when it is producing lesser amount of exhaust. So 30% less exhaust given out, especially very important when training at high intensity exercises. Now coming to one most important factor, let us understand. Now I gave you all the example of the distance. The car travels for around 500 kilometers, and this is nothing but time of the day in comparison to the human body. Now let us understand, the storage capacity of fuel A was less. So therefore the car had to stop at every fuel station. So now this car had to keep stopping at every fuel station because of the limited storage capacity. And this is nothing but when you're using carbohydrates primarily as a source of fuel. All these are the meals throughout your day. You tend to keep snacking throughout the day because there is limited storage capacity. And there are other reasons also, because of insulin resistance and leptin resistance. Therefore, you tend to feel hungry and you keep snacking throughout the entire day. Very important also, when you exercise, when you work out, the need increases. So therefore, you will have a pre-workout, a intra-workout or a post-workout drink because there is limited storage capacity. Glycogen stores are limited in the body and they get depleted after you exercise. So therefore, after a workout, you tend to feel very, very hungry, extremely hungry, and therefore you tend to keep eating and keep snacking because the storage capacity is limited in the liver and in the muscle mass. Now with fat, let us understand. This is how the graph will look. You can clearly observe the comparison between the two. Now depending on the individual, he or she may consume one meal throughout the entire day. It may be 2 or it may be 3 meals throughout the entire day. When the person is using fats primarily as the source of fuel. Now, most important factor is that this period, this long gap between meals is nothing but fasting. And this is termed as intermittent fasting. So there is a long gap between meals, but your body is not depleted of energy because now exogenous. You have not had a meal, which means that you have not supplied your body with fuel through exogenously. Through externally, but endogenously the body is feasting on the fuel, the endogenous fuel, which is nothing but the fat storage. So you can clearly observe the difference. The number of meals are a lot, around 5 to 6 meals throughout the entire day, because the person tends to feel hungry and feels low in energy. Therefore, the brain receives signals through the hormones that you have to keep snacking and keep eating because you are low in energy. Your glycogen stores are depleted. But whereas fuel B, you can either consume 1, 2 or 3 meals depending on the individual. And this long gap which is between meals, very important factor is that you will not feel low in energy. You will feel energetic throughout the entire day, because externally you have not had a meal, which means that you have not supplied your body with fuel through external sources. But endogenously, inside the body within, it's feasting on the stored fuel, which is the fat. So the person will not tend to feel hungry, will not have fluctuating energy levels, and can easily maintain this gap. Now this gap may differ according to each individual. It may be around 14 hours, it may be around 16 hours, or it may even extend to 18 hours of fasting. Now, breakfast, if you happen to skip your breakfast. Now it may happen intentionally that you want to maintain fasting, or it can even be incidental fasting, which means that you're really busy at work, or you don't have the time to prepare your breakfast and you just tend to skip it. So what is the meaning of breakfast? So breakfast is nothing but breaking your fast. A long gap after your dinner, so you're breaking that long fast. So this breakfast can vary depending on every individual. It can be around 14 hours, 16 hours or even 18 hours. But what needs to be understood, the most important factor is that when you're having gap between meals, maybe you're consuming 2 meals a day or maybe 3 meals. When you have gap, a very long gap sometimes between meals, the body is consuming the fat, the stored fat as the source of energy. And this is the time where you don't feel weak, you don't feel low in energy, and you don't feel hungry. And that is how a person can burn fat. Well, the right word is utilize fat, because you don't burn fat but you utilize it, because it is the stored form of energy. It's the fuel. So your body has 2 fuel options, A and B, and clearly how I mentioned the difference between the 2 fuel options, carbohydrates and fats. So this is how the graph will look. So over here you tend to feel hungry, you tend to snack throughout the entire day, and also when there is a little gap between meals, you feel very weak and low in energy, because that's the storage capacity when it's using primarily fuel A. But with fuel B, even when you're maintaining long gaps between meals, your body is feasting, that is, it is utilizing the endogenous fuel. One more very important factor is that even if a person is exercising very high intensity workout when using fuel B primarily, you do not require a pre-workout, a intra-workout or a post-workout. And even after their workouts, they don't tend to feel so hungry as comparison to fuel A, because the body doesn't require that intra-workout or that pre-workout, because it will definitely utilize the stored fat as the source of energy. And that is how a person can very, very efficiently utilize their fat. In other words, burn fat.